Hello, everybody. You know, I couldn't find my kazoo. I was going to start with a... because we're here today, Madmen with the Box. I'm Pixel, you know me. This is Joe of the Corallos, you know him too.
It's true. Hello.
We'll have more trickling in, I'm sure. We'll definitely see Gevain. Landry is a maybe, and Jimmy said he's joining today.
He said that last week too, right?
I don't know. I don't think I did anything last week.
Okay.
This week I did.
Okay.
I warned him. And actually he was counting down, but he still hasn't shown up. I want to start today's episode by saying...
Sack Russell T. Davis.
That's just going to be the general consensus of today, because we have a lot to discuss with the reality war. The season finale, Doctor Who season 2. But you know, we're actually in for a treat, even though he is far away, stuck in Japan. We have a treat. Chris has filmed a video for us to go ahead. And as you can see right there in that bottom right corner, this is half an hour that he had. And he told me, you better show all of it after what you did to my accent last week. So, all right. So I figured the best way, hello to not Matt Fish.
Hello.
You're our audience of one right now. Let's go. Let's get into it. We'll go part by part. Did you have anything that you really wanted to say before we get started, Joe?
No, I already know what I think. I would love to hear what Chris has to say.
Okay, let's get started. This is gonna be fun. As they get in, we'll explain. It'll be fun. Oh, Landry is actually here. This is perfect.
Amazing.
His device pops up. I didn't watch the Wicked trailer, Matt Fish. I'm sorry. I don't. Or not Matt Fish. Hello, Landry.
Hello.
I know what you're doing because I see the fan moving in the background. You're just trying to honest.
Amazing.
We have a video from Chris.
Oh, I have the sound. Where did my sound go? Why does my sound always do this? This is dumb.
Well, your sound's there now.
He said sound, but I heard sun. Where did my son go?
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hi. Hello.
Can you hear us?
There you are. Okay.
Yay.
Okay. So we're going to be doing today just a little bit different. Oh, moving this around. Just a little bit different because we have this video from Chris. We'll go along with it. If we want to pause and discuss anything, that's fine. Just let me know. I've got my hand on the pause button. But we have to watch every minute of it. Chris demands.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and get started.
From Japan, it's me, OZChris, here with my thoughts on the reality war. I thought I'd give our bespectacled, illiterate co-host a break from reading my thoughts and also to stop him from butchering my accent. If I were to describe this episode, I could think of no better word than baffling. Let's go with some positives first. Nita coming back, I thought it was nice, even though she eventually just becomes an overglorified door stopper, and we have to change the rules of the Time Hotel. Doors work here. Like, I thought you had to have an existing door.
Hello to Gevain. Welcome to the party. Hey, everyone. Are you okay? Gevain?
Oh, I'm good.
Oh, okay. The way you said it sounded a little bit down. I was a little worried.
Oh.
Suffering the same pain all of us suffer from.
Chris has sent in a video, and this is what we're going with to start.
Got to.
He's right there.
And I say start, but it's half an hour long, so this will take up the length
fine.
of most of our video today.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you want me to pause, tell me.
I'll let the man speak.
Well, wait.
Yes.
No. Sorry. I don't think I have a half hour.
Okay. Then why don't we go first? Those of us that can watch, will watch.
Okay.
Indeed.
That's a good look. Leave Chris just like that.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Boo, Chris needs to be here in person. He's in Japan, Jimmy. You're supposed to be in here. Oh, there he is. All right. Hello to Jimmy. I thought you weren't showing up.
Oh.
You don't have a half hour, Landry. How's your wife doing?
She's okay. She's all right.
Okay,
Day
good.
one of recovery, so hard. But her brother and
Okay,
her are
good.
watching some TV. She just took her pain medication, so I got a brief window here to jump in and give opinions, which I have. But Jimmy, how are you?
I'm good. I thought I was gonna jump in for the well, and then I had to go to work early in the morning, so I fell asleep early. And then the same thing for the Interstellar Song Contest, and so I couldn't do that. I was like, I don't care what's happening. I will be here for the finale.
Yay!
Nice.
We're glad to have you. I feel like we should let Landry go first, just so that way when the time comes to dip, he can just dip.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am worried though. I am worried because I watched the Interstellar Song Contest pod with Landry and Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Gevain, were you there for that?
Yes, he was.
I was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All of you hated it,
Yes.
which hurts me because it was so. I loved it. So I'm worried about what you have to say.
After watching this episode, I think much more highly of the Interstellar Song Contest. Listen, I don't know who this guy is. This is not the Doctor. I've had a lot of problems with this season, with the Doctor being a character who laughs at a guy who was tortured and butchered and turned into half a machine. Even if he was a bit of a jerk, he was still a person. And the Doctor who was fought to save people who are bad people because they're still lives. This is the Doctor that laughed at a guy getting mopped up by, scrub or whatever the hell that thing is. Brusha.
Yeah.
And that was a problem. But and this we have this guy wants to kill trillions of people. He's also a representative of a culture that has been absolutely brutalized. Now, I'm not saying that makes killing trillions of people okay, but where there is some balance there. The Doctor knew in that singing episode that all those people were okay. He already knew that, if I recall correctly, and he still tortured this guy. And then
but he did say that the guy who wanted to kill billions of people triggered his memory for Gallifrey.
Well, he should rise the hell above
No. When you were triggered with trauma,
when
No, he's a Time Lord. He's not a human being. He's not a human being.
I'll call you right back. Sorry.
And like that, Jimmy's gone.
It's a phone call for my work. I'm sorry.
No, go. So my take on it is I don't recognize this character. Jimmy is right. When we are hit with trauma, we have trauma responses that can be disproportionate. That's okay. I don't mind the Doctor having a trauma response. But afterwards, there was no moment of the Doctor going, I went too far. It's not okay. I need to work on this. Something like that. When we have trauma responses, when we overreact, we're supposed to learn from it and work from it and become better people so we don't do that in the future. But I'm just using this as a setup for who the hell is this guy in this show? I don't know anymore. I don't know this iteration of the Doctor. I do not recognize him anymore. I recognized him in the first season. I do not recognize him in this. And this turgid piece of garbage episode, which I say nicely, I have nothing good to say. Okay. No, I have nothing good to say about this. The Ronnie shows up in the headquarters of unit. A headquarters has become increasingly dull and sits there and they have a long, I don't know how long that scene is, like 10, 15 minutes. I don't know. She just talks about her plans and the doctor talks about his plans and everyone stands there. The top military organization of the world, trained to deal with alien threats and very familiar with Time Lord specifically, does nothing. They just stand there and do, and Melanie's speech shades of, and I believe this is commented on in the chat, like they really wanted a Sarah Jane Davros moment, which was brilliantly done back then. This was bad. There was nothing good. It was so boring. And then when Rassilon finally, not Rassilon,
Omega
finally shows up, he pops up. Oh, it's another giant skeleton. Pops up, and the doctor says, no, it was a Bugs Bunny moment. He poked his head out of a rabbit hole and got shoved right back in. It was nothing. And then we still have a half an hour of the doctor going, I haven't had baby.
Yeah.
And what the hell happened with Susan? Where's Susan?
I know.
Chris actually sent another video that I didn't have a chance to go ahead and get downloaded because it took so long to get this one to actually download. And that's what he wanted to say. Where the hell's Susan? Where was Susan all the lead up in the past 2 episodes for nothing?
Nothing. It was bad. It was really, really bad. It was, and I will say, okay, one positive I can say, because from everything I understand, this was an abrupt decision where they filmed 2 different versions of the ending, one where he left, one where he didn't. We didn't have a normal, who's going to be the next doctor? Here's a big announcement. I had no idea the doctor was leaving. I had no idea the doctor was regenerating. I had no idea about Billie Piper, who I don't think is meant to be the doctor, but that's another thing there. Notice she's not credited as a doctor at the end.
Yep.
No.
The and usually they do. It could be that that's the doctor, or it could be a bad wolf moment. There's a lot of possibilities there. I'm willing to bet it'll be a Christmas special and then they'll move on to who their actual pick is, because they didn't have time to cast the doctor. So they jumped in, they want something big, sensational, try to drive ratings up because ratings are terrible. And boom, that's what we got. A turgid, slow, incomprehensible, non-paying off garbage story that could have been written in I don't know. It's just ChatGPT. ChatGPT wrote this. And that's all I got. That's the best I can say. It makes episodes look better in some ways because they're not as incoherent, but it makes the overall season look worse. And you can tell how much Jimmy agrees with me on every point by how silent he is. And that's what I like about Jimmy. When he knows you're right, he says nothing. And he just leaves it on mute.
True. That's true.
Your move.
Let's just go around the horn and we'll finish up with Chris. Gevain, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for everybody involved.
I'm back. Sorry.
I really do. I'm gonna mangle his, but like Nukti, I don't remember the actresses' names, so I'll use their character names, Ruby and Belinda. I feel bad for the Ronnie. I feel bad for Omega. I feel bad for Pixel.
Thank you.
You feel
Thank you.
wait. Back up.
Yeah,
You feel bad for the Ronnie?
Oh yeah, I feel bad for the Ronnie because I think with this series in particular, and I think this was just a missed opportunity. It just was. I think I've said it before. It was like there was a chance to reinvent characters here, and it was just a missed opportunity. like we talked about this last episode, like when it came, like the whole thing with the Mel, in a sense, trying to build up the Ronnie as a threat, like trying to make a Davros level threat is that, you know, how the fan base in general feels about the Ronnie. If you wanted to have her have that kind of stature, then have her do something to that point. Like, you had two companions. Have the Ronnie like kill one of them in such a way that made her feel like a threat. And then I would have bought the speech from Mel because,
well, I mean, to be fair,
Mhm.
there were two because they bi-generated, even though bi-generation is
Okay, now if we're going to be
stupid.
taking this bi-generated stuff seriously,
No,
I mean, you know,
no, it's stupid. It's stupid. But I think the better actor, the better Ronnie, is the older Ronnie.
yeah, it
And
is.
yeah, and
But
like
Oh,
what
yeah,
Matt
yeah.
Fish says. What Matt Fish says is they killed the hot Ronnie. I mean, I don't care about whether or not she's attractive, is whether or not she can do the job. And in my opinion, her Ronnie was not as good as the older Ronnie.
100%.
Well, that's my point. So my point is she wasn't as good because they didn't put any effort into her. So in other words, it's like, what's the point of her? It's like there was the whole problem with this is you're going to bring back this character that you know is dubious to begin with. All you had to do was just give her a motivation and then give her a scene where it was like, this is why you should think she's a threat, period, in the discussion. And it just was never done. Just like you do all this buildup to Omega, and you literally, I don't even know what the hell he pulled out of behind him in the headquarters they were at in the first place to kill him with. It's like, was that?
It was the Vindicator that he had been collecting all that to go ahead and get him back to Earth. That was the Vindicator that he pulled off the wall and used as a gun.
To be fair, the Doctor has used guns before. This is a new era.
They gave us the frickin' click remote for a sonic screwdriver because RTD.
Oh, this has nothing to do with the topic. This has nothing to do with topic. This has nothing to do with topic. But when it comes to the Vindicator, they did talk about a previous episode. I believe it was Story and the Engine, where the Vindicator. No, was it the Well, where the Vindicator has a power of like 1,000 supernovas or something like that. So like it made sense, but this is a new era. The old era where the Doctor does not use a gun. I mean, technically they can say does not matter. So I get it. Although I'm with you. I think we should have had more of Omega. It should have been harder.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, there's my point. I don't care whether the Doctor used a gun or not or whatever it was. It's like you don't spend 8 episodes building up this Omega. The first time, Lord, he's so dangerous. He comes out looking like something like as a pre-promotion for Jurassic Dominion World, whatever the hell it is. And then basically you pull out something that looks like a damn mix between a vacuum cleaner and a supposed whatever the hell those Ghostbusters use, and basically just blast them back to wherever the hell he came from. Ooh, Omega level threat. Get the hell out of here with that. 3 different villains, and basically one of them eats the other. The other one gets vacuumed back to from the space to where they came from. Another one just pops off to wherever the hell she came from, like she was Mary Poppins. Really, guys? This is the quote unquote reality war. Really?
Gevain,
really?
Tell us how you really feel, bro.
No. See, now I was going to be nice about this, but now you got me riled up, James, because it's like you guys have got to be. I mean, they have got to be kidding with this. They have got to be kidding with this. And then to the point about Susan. Yeah, come on now. Now you already basically cock teased us last season with Susan. And a damn anagram that basically led nowhere. Now you come back.
Real quick.
You literally are telling me that the reason why we have Susan is because this little space baby black girl who you're giving off timeless child vibes is basically wished into existence, where the Doctor has now become the greatest cosmic sperm donor ever. and then
Oh,
stuck
yeah.
into an incubator while everything's going on and comes out and still ain't elite halftime lord? Are you shitting me? Really? Really?
All right,
Really?
Gevain.
And you still don't know where Susan came from. You still don't know why she calls him grandfather. And this is the second time these punks have pulled this the first question, the question that you shouldn't ask, and and 50 and at least they didn't tease me with all these commercials acting like they were really gonna give me something to like really be like, yeah. It's like this was lazy. This was either lazy as hell, or it's like there comes a point when you're dealing with writers where we would say is that there comes a point where you clip the chains connected to their legs and you roll them away from the desk. I think with these last 2 seasons, at least when it comes to Doctor Who, RTD actually made Chris Chibnall looks good. I think we owe Chibnall an apology because even at his worst, this trash here, this was Tenet era retread garbage. And to top it all off, the cherry on top is Rose. Really, I don't care if she isn't the Doctor. You pull the same damn trick twice with the no. It's cheap. It's cheap.
No.
And the whole thing was, I said this from the beginning.
Disagree more.
No,
Gevain,
I said this from the beginning of the season. If they didn't pay this off, garbage. They did not pay this off in any meaningful way. Forced. That and if no one wants to believe this was forced, if nobody wants to believe this was forced, that scene with Mel trying to build up the Ronnie into a threat that she just wasn't is evidence they had nothing the whole time.
I agree with that. Let me fucking okay. So Chris Chibnall, Russell T Davies did not prove that Chris Chibnall was good. Chris Chibnall proved he was good with his last season with Flux. But before that, it was the worst dog shit ever. I'll agree with you. But if he did not have Flux, I would normally not agree with you.
But he has Flux, and that's the point. What RT doesn't have is these last 2 seasons, and they were garbage. Last season was garbage.
No.
And this season was garbage.
Season 1 is, in my opinion, way better than season 2. I like both of them, but season 1 of Flux season 1 of RTD2 is astounding. Like, there's only 2 episodes I really don't like, which is the first one, Goblins, and the second one, which is Space Babies. Thank you. But besides that, the rest is fantastic. Oh God, you spoke a lot, and I'm trying to remember everything.
I'll help you.
Well,
the Ruby payoff was horse shit. It was horse shit. It literally meant nothing. She was pointing at nothing. There was no payoff. It wasn't profound. It didn't tie up the rest of the season. It didn't make you realize how vital Ruby was to anything, much like this season. It's the whole thing is, grandfather, find me.
No. If you go back.
Find what, chick? We still don't know what you about. If
you go back and watch the behind the scenes, Ruby Sunday was
the fact that you're saying I have to watch the behind the scenes
for this season, it proves it with Flux.
Okay.
The pictures
failure from a storytelling level this is. You have to watch the commentary for it to really pay off. Get the hell out of here with that. Really? I gotta watch. When you watch the commentary, then it all makes sense. When you watch the behind the scenes features, then you'll get it.
Okay. Come on. Gevain, did you have anything else you wanted to go ahead and?
I think. I'm trying to think. I'm sure it was something else that I've missed here, but I will, because I want to really emphasize this. I really want to emphasize this because I'm with Landry on the one part there. When it went down and I realized it was like basically a half an hour left, I'm like, what what could y'all possibly after you got rid of the Ronnie and you got rid of Omega within the first 25, 30 minutes, what could you possibly have left to supposedly talk about? And then it's just basically to invalidate the whole reason why we all showed up on a Saturday night or a Saturday morning in the first place, to basically say that all that happened was the doctor, after all this time, the great secret between him and Belinda Chandra was that basically he was her baby's daddy. Get out.
Yes. I'm with you.
And not even a good baby's daddy, because the kid ain't even like a 1/10 of a Time Lord. It's like Susan is still floating around out there someplace. This was just like, why? So and they're not going to trick me again. And they're not going to trick me again into thinking that somehow the Christmas special that's coming up, this is when all of my
there's no Christmas special coming up.
Will be
there's nothing commissioned. Absolutely nothing.
That's my point. There's nothing. So,
apparently
we went down this
Susan
yellow brick road.
was taking out of this episode with the reshoots, which is the biggest problem. The biggest problem was the reshoots for this episode. Like, so Susan was taken out, the ending was taken out, Ruby was taken out near the end. There was a lot of things that happened near the end of this episode that was reshot, and in my opinion, that stifled this show.
Look, if they do another season and it turns out it's 8 episodes, I'm not watching. Will. Yeah, and I'm not watching. I'm not going to watch
it. Only because 8?
Dude, this has been the most compressed piece, 2 seasons of compressed pieces of trash that I've ever watched in my entire life. It is evident that they did not give these things room to breathe. And even on top of that, even with 8 episodes, they could have done a better job than this. Especially when you were cribbing. Especially when you were cribbing 2 series that happened like 20 years ago, whatever, how long it's been. You're not even coming up with like brand new concepts, introducing stuff into this. He was literally doing a greatest hits of what he had done before. And the only thing I cannot phantom, with the exception of the bi-generation bit at the end, I cannot recognize the person who came up with those 3 specials that preceded this to how we went from that to this. I just
Can I tell you how? Can I tell you how?
Please.
All right. So, did any of you guys watch the Russell T Davies documentary on ITV or YouTube?
No.
Okay. There's a part in it where his best friend. Don't show these. Okay, show screen. There we go. Show audio. Okay. Where his best friend is talking about what he should do for Doctor Who. And I think this could be a problem. I don't care what side of you are on the political spectrum. All you have to do is share screen. This is part of his documentary. And I don't care where you are with the political spectrum, but this, in my opinion, is what's wrong with his writing nowadays. Tell me if you can hear it. If you can't, let me know, okay?
I remember this feeling. Imagine now being able to be this political, being this influential again, back at Doctor Who. It's the best toy set you can have. It's the most incredible power because you've got all of time and space, but it's a kid's show, and that's the power of it. If you make that show right, whatever you put in that show, that generation are going to grow up with as part of their belief system. You are going in there at a really key age and teaching kids what a decent human being is, which is another reason why I'm really looking forward to seeing this Doctor Who coming, because it's like he's got work to do.
Where's your point? Now y'all
about to get canceled now.
My point is
about to get canceled now.
Jimmy.
My point is that is indoctrination. And normally I would be like, okay, look, if he has something to say, say it. But I don't even think Russell knows what he wants to say.
Indoctrination in what? She was talking about specifically ingraining in kids to be a good person. She didn't say anything.
No. Listen to everything besides that.
I'm playing it again.
I
No,
listened to it.
What Jimmy's intimating is he's intimating the behind every good creative voice is a feminist with an agenda. That's what
No,
he's saying.
no. What she
Because
says is
Frank Baum had the
when
same
this is
problem
from
when he wrote
his-
Wizard of Oz too.
No, this is from his best friend, which says when there are kids who are watching a show, he has a duty and an ability to write what kids should believe, which is, in my opinion, indoctrination and propaganda. It's like it doesn't matter if you're on the left or right.
Christ,
It doesn't
Jimmy.
matter if you're on the left or right.
No, Jimmy, that's not what she said.
All right, let's watch it again right now.
No.
Tell me that's not what she said.
Jimmy, I'm not an idiot, and I'm really not happy right now. Like, no,
because
this
you're intimating something, and the simple fact of the matter is because I don't have to go there, and I won't go there. But what I will say is, even if that was the case, because I've spent a whole day having a conversation with those other people. There is a way, despite whatever your views are, whatever you want to quote unquote indoctrinate or put out there into the world, you still do it in a way that is one, entertaining, and two, makes sense. Sorry. I can have all kinds of point of views about stuff and things and messages I want to put off or themes I want to tackle. One of my biggest complaints with this season is, look, if you want to write an episode or write a story or do a story arc or do a whole series about the fact that you think there's a bunch of guys who are a bunch of incels, no problem. Have at it, Hoss. Just don't beat me over the head with it by 45 minutes in it, basically telling me straight to my face, Planet of the Incels. Come on, don't insult my intelligence.
No, I think you guys might be misconstruing what I'm saying. Okay. So what I'm saying is he is going to be saying all these political views, which is fine, but I don't think he knows what he's saying. So his political views are being misconstrued. When it comes to Joy of the World, what's her name?
Jimmy, we're here to talk about the reality war. Can we please?
That's I'm literally bringing that up right now. She becomes a doorstop for time to flow through. Every time he talks to her, he goes, "Hey, just hold the door open." Okay? And then when it comes to Verada Sethu, who plays Belinda, okay. So now you're just a person who like ends your time with me. All right, now you're just a mother. You're nothing more. It's like, no, you actually showed more than that with, in my opinion, the Interstellar Song Contest. In my opinion, the Well, you showed more what you wanted to do, but in the end, because Russell didn't know what he wanted to tell with this companion, you just ended up being a mother. Okay. Wow.
But
there's more to it.
She's also working. Like, the whole point of her having to get back at that exact time was so she could go to work.
No. When did we know the time?
What
we
do
didn't
you
know the time
know?
until the last episode.
No, I'm sorry. We're talking about the reality war. You're bringing up a point that makes no sense because
how does it not make sense?
The whole point is that she's working. She's working. She needs to be home so her mother could be there, at the time so she could go to work.
No, Poppy did not incorporate back into the episode until this episode. Her time, the exact time at 7:30, when she needs to be back in time for her mother to go, did not incorporate until this exact episode. She didn't say that. In any other episode, there was no time for her to leave.
To do with anything? At the end of the series, she's working in a mom. I don't understand.
Yes,
how that means she's just a mom.
She needs to be back at this, throughout the season. She was, I need to be back on May the 24th. I need to be back on May the 24th. But when it comes to this episode, she goes, I need to be back at May the 24th at 7:30.
I'm sorry, Jimmy. What the hell are you even talking about? I don't know what you're. No, this is. What are you doing?
Okay, fine. I'll stop talking.
You're clearly just trolling us. Like, this is ridiculous. Yeah,
Dude, in
you
every
are.
other episode, she needed to be back at May the 24th. In this episode, she needed to be back at May the 24th at 7:30 because, Poppy is now a thing.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know what you're talking. What does this have to do with anything?
That's the whole point of the reality shattering and reshaping itself and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. And the whole point is that
it's J.J. Abrams' mystery box. We did not know why she needed to be back at this time.
We absolutely
the final episode where
here's what I'm
Poppy
gonna
is
say.
now a thing, and now her mother is there watching her kid. We did not
go-
know that until this episode.
Okay,
What does this have to do with anything? I don't understand.
Well, my point is, it's not good writing, Joe.
well, that was my point.
We
that
were
it's not good
already
writing.
there.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
You're saying, oh my God, all three people in the chat had no idea what you were talking about. It's you, buddy.
How am I wrong? Am I
It's not
wrong?
that we're-
Am I saying we didn't know until now?
Okay, here's the thing. Before this episode, she just wanted to go back home because she had work. She didn't even live with her mom before. So it doesn't matter.
Correct.
It doesn't matter.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter at all. They made this wasn't a mystery box. They created the episode alone. It didn't exist before. Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
How is it not a mystery box? Why did she need to be home until now?
Because she had work the next day. She lived with her flatmate. She didn't live with
She
her
didn't
mom.
say that.
Bro,
work
she
the next
literally
morning.
was telling him she was literally worried about her parents realizing she was gone. Pixel's right. She was living with the flatmates. That's who
Yes,
she walked out of the
we
door.
know that, but she didn't say that until this episode where she goes, now I need to be home because of the kid,
reality
which is not good
changed.
writing.
Did you watch the show?
Mhm.
What the hell is going
Stop.
on?
Yes, I
Don't make-
did.
Don't
Oh my
make
God.
us defend reality war, Jimmy.
I think we're all agreeing it's not good writing, but we're all like disagreeing on how bad of writing it is.
I ain't disagreeing on how bad of the writing it is. The writing was terrible.
Sorry, like the way it came about is what I meant. The way it came about.
No, this series has been what we call in certain parts of the world half-assed. That's what it's been. It's been half-assed. It's half the glass is half full, but it's also a whole lot of empty. And the thing was, there was a lot of missed opportunities here. I like Belinda as a character, or at least the potential of her. I liked Ruby. I like the Doctor, even though I agree with Landry. There's certain quirks and characteristics to him that are very undoctor-like. It wasn't like they don't know how to do this. We can go back to the first season, and I think we all pretty much agree Dot and Bubble was pretty much quintessential what the Doctor is supposed to be. I think the fact that they brought Jodie back at the end, which I actually liked, just further emphasizes the point of the missed opportunity you have, where you have a Doctor now who basically, for most of the time that we've known him, has presented as a white male, and they've taken zero advantage of the fact that now he's a white female, and now he's a black male, and this, and that. All the story possibilities you could have had with that in terms of his point of view, being a Time Lord, get all these changes, how do you deal with it? And all of it was just rushed through. You could have easily gotten 4 to 5 series out of this. And they didn't take advantage of it because, to your point, Jimmy, it's bad writing.
I agree 100%, especially because you brought up Dot and Bubble, which was Shooty's first episode he acted in and they filmed. And, like, in my opinion, I think Shooty in that episode did something great. At the end of the episode, where he goes, "Let me save
exactly.
you."
No, exactly.
That's one of the best moments his Doctor had.
Because that's the Doctor, and the fact that in this series here, because some of the complaint was in the last series was that he was kind of being made out to be kind of like stupid. Like he didn't know what was going on, which is why I like the Lux episode, where it was like you were starting to see now he was starting to catch things before everybody else was catching, or he wasn't falling for it. And the thing was, it's this big. The reason why this run with Trudy is so disappointing is because it's all over the place. Literally, it's all over the place. Which if RTD is trying to make some meta commentary on his own work with the reality war, that's what this joint looks like. You spend 10 minutes with them going, with Ruby just looking around like Scooby-Doo, going like, well, something's wrong. What about Poppy? What about Poppy? It's like, bro, we get it already, okay? That somehow they forgot or whatever it is. So now he goes back into TARDIS, punches himself in the chest or whatever it is, pulls out regeneration energy, moves it by a shift of the degree. Jodie comes out of nowhere. We're not even sure if it's the actual Jodie or the Jodie from the alternate universe or whatever it is. It's like, bro, what the hell?
No, that's true. That's true. But also,
I still don't know whether or not Susan is actually the granddaughter of Doctor Who or not. And I still don't know what the hell was the answer to the first question. And I want my money back and my time. That's what they say. I'm reclaiming my time because I want to know what the hell. Then you bring the first Time Lord back, and it's like at least we could have had Omega. He's hanging around now. Maybe eventually Rassilon comes back. We figure out we can actually, if you wanted to do something with the reality war, you know what they should have done? They should have erased from existence that goddamn Timeless Child episode. It got back to the
yes.
Three guys who said, hey, let's build a race of people in society, and we basically disagree with it, and now we've been beefing all these come on, bro. There was way too many. If you're gonna see, I thought what RTD was gonna do, I thought he was actually gonna use it. I know I'm gonna let Joe get in here. I thought he was gonna use the reality war as what it should have been was a Deus Machina to basically like, yeah, okay, we kind of lost the narrative last season to go into this one, so we're just gonna wipe the slate clean. So then even after you do it, immediately after you miss that opportunity to just erase your past mistakes, then you introduce the biggest blunder of all by having the regeneration into roles. Joe, is all yours.
Yeah, Joe, go ahead. You haven't said anything, and I really want to talk about Omega.
No, for sure. It's very odd the whole bit here, but going with Omega first, it was so jarring. In a matter of seconds, we get the reveal that Omega's a giant CGI monster. And he's just like, I eat Time Lords now, and just grabs the Ronnie and eats. It's like, what is happening? What is this?
It's the same thing as season 1.
Me hungry.
I was just like, what is this? That was so insane. The two Rannies, but there was a lot of stuff that like could have just been tightened even in like editing or like it was jarring to me that the way it was shot and constructed, the Ranny is fairly slowly grabbed by Omega, held up for a little bit, and then eaten as the Doctor just stands there.
Yeah. Yep.
And like,
what's gonna happen?
He didn't use his sonic screwdriver. He didn't do anything. He just literally stands there the whole time, watch you get eaten, and you're like, is he gonna like shout no or anything? He doesn't do like that. Was insane to me. The Ranny, and then again the time ring or bracelet like falls off. The Ranny, Mrs. Flood, slowly walks over to it, picks it up. We watch her just slowly put it on her wrist, turn it on. The Doctor is standing arm's length from her and just lets her go.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't even attempt to like grab. Like, how did the Doctor not grab the time bracelet, use a sonic screwdriver to deactivate it, do something to be like, oh no, we're not done yet? Like it didn't make any sense.
Joe,
Jimmy, I'm actually just talking, and I'm not interested in having a conversation about my thoughts with
What
you
I'm
right
saying
now.
is you're
Let him
stifling.
finish. Let him finish.
You're
What I'm doing.
stifling RTD's joke because her leaving is just a joke, and you wouldn't laugh at it otherwise.
I don't even know why you bothered to say that.
No.
Anyway,
let Joker continue.
so
The two doctors, like, so I mean, the two Ronnies is a joke. That's why he put it in there. It's like a thing.
cool, great. Okay, so there was that. You had anyway. Now that I lost my train of thought,
you were talking about how slow everything was.
Yeah, no, it's very slow.
Chris
I know there are some points that Chris had mentioned that I didn't want to that I'm sure in the video that I'm like, I might as well let him say some of that stuff. But yeah, the stuff with Unit was just like, why? Like you had Omega being this skeletal like creature, and there were these giant skeletons that weren't explained, but they don't really make a connection.
Yep.
And like that seemed odd. Like, why are we not connecting these things? The whole bit where he didn't want to be alone, so he goes to be like to look at Joy, I guess, or that Joy's always like. It was a moment that was so compressed.
Yes.
Like again, it feels like we could have gotten that payoff could have worked if there were more episodes.
Yep.
I do think it's also important to keep in mind that it's gonna probably take years before we get the whole story on how everything went down, on why Shooty left when he did.
Yep.
I mean, we didn't get the full story on like we thought we knew the full story on Eccleston for a while. And then it was years before we actually got the full story on the what was it, the like how he developed like an eating disorder and all this stuff. Like it was like really crazy serious stuff. So I don't know the elements of that. And no, I'm just talking about how my thoughts on this, and then the floor is yours, or whatever Pixel anyway. But it's going to be interesting because in the future, sort of like with Colin Baker, for example, he's a lot of big Colin Baker fans will tell you, even though his episodes aren't necessarily the greatest, maybe there are like a handful of gems that people will point to. Like I personally really love like Revelation of the Daleks, but
yeah,
it's the future. Like people who like him now or really enjoy him, it's because of after the fact. It's because of knowing the history and understanding the original cancellation, coming back, all the behind the scenes drama. So I think there's a chance, depending on how things go, if he does some big finishes or there's some novels with his Doctor that really resonate with fans, and we find out a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, that there's a very good chance he could become a real cult classic Doctor for people and garner a similar kind of fan base that Colin Baker has. So I'm hoping it goes in that direction, because it does feel like it would just be a waste if he doesn't do a lot of big finish, or if we don't do much with this time period in the Doctor in the future. But yeah, I hope so, because again, similar to like what Gevain was saying, I mean, it feels like everyone got the shaft here.
It was a disservice.
Yeah, and I know we're blaming Russell on a lot of things, but as well, but like going from 13 to 8 episodes, like that is a challenge. I don't know how it all went behind the scenes. Russell might have stories, and he might be a good face right now, but it could turn out that there was a lot of stuff planned, that there was a lot of meddling outside of his control that affected things, and he's just, being a good sport about it. So
there is a lot of things that apparently were cut out of his episodes, and Disney didn't have a lot of say in what was cut out. And like, truly, I don't blame Russell at all, because I think he truly is a fantastic writer. But I do blame Disney, because they have a way they do things and what gets uploaded to Disney Plus. And Russell really is a more of like an adult author, and Disney's not. Disney is more of a more younger base, and I think they stifled or stunted his Doctor Who growth in this era.
Did you have any other things you wanted to touch upon?
No, I should because if Jimmy's gonna go, and then you, and then Chris has this video, like it's never gonna end. So
yeah. So Jimmy, what are your thoughts on the reality war?
Up until the ending, I kind of liked. Oh, by the way, before I start, Joe, if I made you upset, I apologize. I did not mean for any of that to happen. I probably just didn't explain my point good enough, because I'm not good with words, and so I did not mean to make you upset. And I do interrupt when I'm passionate.
It's okay. We should keep going.
Okay. But the reality war, like up until I want to say Omega loses, I was truly enjoying myself. I was like, oh, he's wrapping up all these things. He somehow found a way to do it. And then I think they shot themselves in the foot. I think they really shot themselves in the foot, because I think Shooty really wanted to stay around for a while. And in my opinion, they did, like, from season 1, they weren't, including with the media, they weren't treating Millie with respect or reverence. And they were just saying, oh, she's hard to work with. Okay, fine. Maybe she was. And then you go to this season, and they're starting to say the same thing about Shooty. And it's like, it kind of feels exactly what they did to Eccleston. It's like, what's actually the problem? Because it seems like the only person who seemed to get along with Russell and everyone he works with is David Tennant, Rose Tyler, and Donna, Catherine Tate. Because Martha left after season 1, and they also said like a sort of thing, just like, yeah, she wasn't fitting in. But it was like, what's actually the problem? So you have like 2 fantastic writers. You have not writers, 2 fantastic actors, and they just so happen to be like not a good fit, or they're tired, or they're hard to work with. It's like, this is exactly what they did to Eccleston, and I'm just not buying it this time. Even though Shooty is getting the raw end of the deal, he himself is still playing ball, because he's saying, oh, it was the plan the whole time to do these 2 seasons. No, because you said at the start you're going to stick around as long as you can. You didn't want to leave until you fought a Dalek. It's like, okay. And I don't know if I've said a lot of things this week to Pixel in the group chat, because I was so heartbroken about what happens. Like, season 1, I truly did not like Shooty. I can't tell you why. I don't know why. I wasn't feeling him. But this season, I was really like, oh, wow. Like, he's actually really good. And then I rewatched season 1, and I was like, oh, was I just in a bad mood for like 8 weeks? Like, what the heck happened? And I think season 1 is actually better than season 2. And I feel sad, because as soon as like we're losing a magnificent actor, and everything I've seen so far, a magnificent person as well, and it feels like we just got him because we kind of just did. I think we could have had so much more with Shooty, so much more. And I put on Twitter this week, or whatever the fuck it's called now. But I put on Twitter this week, because what I truly felt was something Doctor Who has already put out, which was Donna Noble during the 60th anniversary, where she said, I feel like I had something special, something lovely, but it's gone. That's what I'm feeling, dude. It's like, right as I realized what we had, it's gone. And now, like, I can't get it back. And it was replaced with, in my opinion, something, what's the word for taking glory away from someone? Like, someone had, like, really good...
like stolen valor or something.
Yeah,
like,
stolen valor, basically. Because when Shooty came in, he didn't just regenerate into Shooty. He bi-generated, even though we were supposed to get an explanation of what that was. Turns out we didn't. And then, so, yeah, technically he regenerated, but, you know, the 10th Doctor's still out there. So it's not truly like a full regeneration. And then when he leaves after 2 seasons, we're like, oh, we had 2 seasons of actually pretty good stuff. And when he leaves, we're not going to give him all his credit, because when he leaves, we're going to regenerate into Rose, Tyler, Billie Piper, whatever she is now. And that takes away all his goodbye, because now the show and people who watch it are now focused on, who the heck is this? What's going on? You shot yourself in the foot every chance you got. I'm sorry. I feel like I've had something ripped from my heart. And I'm really upset, because I don't care what anyone says. Joe, don't look at me that way. I like the Interstellar Song Contest. And with each...
I was looking at you. I missed that.
I thought Joe was going to be a certain...
I didn't see a look.
You can like what you like, and it's far from the worst episode this season.
Hey,
that's true.
I've been the punching bag around here.
Yeah, right. Pixel's been taking.
How does it feel? How does it feel, Pixel? I had 2 years of that.
Actually, fine, because I'm gonna garner favor with today's review. Don't worry.
So I mean, like, either way, like, personally, Interstellar Song Contest gave me so much hope for the future of Doctor Who. And then every episode after it, it felt like a piece of it was taken away. And now I'm just left here in a husk of my former self. And I just truly don't really know what to do or what to think at the moment. And I love Russell so much with all my heart, but I think he might have jumped the shark, and it's time for him to pass it up, especially with these people who are the show running War of the Land Between the Sea or something.
The War Between the Land and the Sea.
Yeah, the trailer for that looks absolutely marvelous, and if the trailer holds up to the TV show or vice versa, those people should probably take over Doctor Who. But yeah, I'm a little heartbroken. All right, Pixel, go for it.
Ultimately, we feel like this.
Sack Russell T Davies.
My favorite bit now. Listen,
and Julie Gardner.
Yeah, but I didn't want to go ahead and spend time splicing it, so I was like, just Russell T Davies. Yeah, no, the whole thing needs reset. I'm so glad that there are people that can find that they can like this episode for the first half hour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What the fuck did they do to Omega? That is not Omega. Listen, they have the little title captions that says "The Beast of Omega." That's more accurate, because nothing of what is said about Omega in this episode, other than the fact that he's one of the first Time Lords, makes any fucking sense.
Yeah.
None at all.
Yeah.
we've met Omega. We know Omega in the antimatter universe, where he came from, not the Underverse. He wasn't banished into the Underverse. He was sent away. He was trying to find a solo engine. We get the whole story. We have watched the episode. Yeah. Russell should have watched the 3 Doctors before writing this freaking episode.
Yep. I mean, shit, on YouTube now.
Yeah, they just posted it today, and I have been in a similar state. I mean, I was actually the opposite. I didn't like the Interstellar Song Contest as much because it was just Juno Dawson's writing was not the best. Her writing wasn't done well. That's not what we should do. It should have been polished, should have been cleaned. But Wishworld did give me hope, and I feel like such a fucking fool because at the end I was like, there could be a way. There is a reality where he pulls this off.
Yep.
Somehow, go ahead and answer about the snow. At least 73 yards seems to make a little more sense. That's why she's gone ahead and has this sensitivity to other realities. But it doesn't matter. The Doctor doesn't know. It doesn't matter. She's gone. He doesn't even say goodbye to her. God.
Pixel, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
We might have a special guest if it's okay with you. How would you feel about Connor from the 50% Doctor Who podcast coming on?
That's fine. Send the link. I've been watching 50% for the past few weeks too. Going ahead and watching.
Same, yeah.
We gotta get to Chris's video.
Yeah.
We're over an hour in. I don't know if I have more than half an hour left in me.
That's true. Let me just go ahead. Let me wrap up my point. Sorry, Connor. Yeah, no. This is disgusting. This is horrible. I haven't been able to. I have 3 Big Finish audio adventures that are waiting for me to listen to, and Chris was excited about them, and he's like, "Well, we should really review these when I get back." But that was right before this episode came out. I can't even begin to look at anything Doctor Who right now. It's really, really bad. This has sucked my soul out. If I did not have this podcast, this would be my stopping point.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah, that's what Connor's thinking too. And like not just Connor, but a lot of people.
Yeah. No, this is one of the worst episodes I've ever seen. Nothing in 13's era even comes close. Timeless Child, I can go ahead and say, oh my God, I hate that. But it's a better episode than this one. I know, I've recently rewatched it because I was writing for that silly competition. And now I can't get myself to write anything more. I can't get myself to care. And it drives me mad. All right, let's go ahead. We'll continue from where we had paused because no. Come on, present, air screen. That's right. Right on that beautiful face. Thank you, Chris. Let's hit play.
Like the tents in the Christmas special, but apparently you can just make the door appear wherever you want, I guess, because the plot demands it, which kind of happens a lot in this episode, but I'm not into negatives yet. Jodie coming back as 13, I heard that was apparently one of the leaks. Luckily, I wasn't spoiled on that because it was like generally like a, oh my God, what the hell is she doing here? Like surprise. I thought it was nice, even though it doesn't really amount to anything in the end. Like there's really no purpose for her to be there. I think Millie Gibson is kind of the standout of this episode, and it really lends some credence to the theory that apparently this season was written with Ruby in mind, that this was going to be 2 seasons of Ruby as the companion. But because something happened behind the scenes, Millie Gibson wasn't fully available for the full season, so she was only there for 3 episodes instead. But it really does feel like Ruby was supposed to be the companion, especially in this episode, because our actual companion is thrown into a box for most of the episode.
Yeah.
And the last positive I will give is that the scene where the Doctor and Belinda keep passing Poppy's coat to one another and fold it, but it's being folded smaller than it possibly can because it's being erased from existence and Poppy is being erased from existence, and then Ruby's kind of realizing what's happening, I think is a legitimately really good scene. I think it is the best scene in this episode and probably like the highlight of this episode. That ends the positive, so on to the negatives. We have to introduce the Rani again. This is the third time in a row, 3 episodes in a row where we have I'm the Rani, this is the Rani. One is enough. One is more than enough. Everyone in unit gets their memories back because of the time hotel, like time flowing through the open doors. Everyone in unit has a implanted tracker. We're not going to touch that apparently. Their unit, sure. Rose Noble returns, and she amounts to, much like in Legend of Ruby Sunday and Empire of Death, nothing. A waste of Yasmin Finney, like an absolute waste. Yet again,
Yes.
The Rani appears. We have our explanation of what her real plan is. She not only wants to bring in Omega back, but wants to use him as a gene bank to bring the Time Lords back. Because apparently what the Master did not only just killed them all, if you somehow survive, it makes you sterile. Which also leads into how the Rani survived. She did a genetic sidestep. Russell, that's just a bunch of words put together. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't explain anything. Did she do the meme where, like, an explosion, like the wave or like a tsunami is coming towards someone and the person just jumps above it? It's like, that's too easy. Is it just that, but with a genetic sidestep instead? That's nothing. That doesn't explain anything. And also, again, if it is what the Master did is made them sterile, we are unnecessarily convoluting what the Master did yet again, like back in Series 12. Because from what I took from it is that he killed all of the Time Lords on Gallifrey. But then in the Devil's Cord, the Doctor tells Ruby the explosion affected the Time Lords on a genetic level. So it didn't kill just the Time Lords on Gallifrey. It killed the Time Lords across space. And it's like, okay, I don't like that, but whatever. But now if you somehow survived the explosion or just weren't affected by it, it still affects you by sterilizing you. We have that. Poppy is the Doctor and Belinda's daughter because she's half Time Lord, half human, even though she's a creation of the Wish World. I'll get into Poppy a bit more later. So Rani escapes. The Doctor decides, I'm going to go after her to stop Omega and stop the two Ranis. Susan Triad, I want you to make the Zero Room, which is a neat little reference. I did like that. Make the Zero Room, put Belinda and Poppy in there, because if we end the Wish World, Poppy doesn't exist anymore. And I'm very adamant that she's definitely my daughter, even though she's only existed in this world, and she's based off one of the space babies back in Space Babies that was not connected to the Doctor at all for any reason. But very adamant, she is my daughter. I want her to be alive. Belinda also wants her to be alive, even though, again, like I said, she's only just exists in the Wish World. So that happens. Ruby is sent to stop Conrad. She's given the Indigo device, which neat little reference to Project Indigo from Series 4, to stop Conrad, and I understand what they're trying to do with this, with how Ruby is approaching Conrad, like trying to appeal to this hidden, suppressed, like what the true Conrad really wants. Like, there's actually a kind of a nice guy underneath. It's just buried underneath this terrible conservative right-wing grifter like guy that apparently now has daddy issues, even though his dad was never mentioned. And from what we see of Conrad and Lucky Day, seems to be more than daddy issues. But again, Conrad's character changes because the plot demands it. So yeah, like Ruby says, oh, like, despite everything that you did and you've changed reality, you made it nice. And it's like, yeah, I know Ruby's trying to kind of sweet talk him to lower his guard, but it's like, we know the wish world's not nice, because if you were disabled, you were ignored. If you were trans, you don't exist.
Yep.
Is illegal in this reality. Like, it's not a nice place, but like it's this weird thing. Like, I know what Ruby's trying to do, but it's like, no, it's not. It's not nice. It's not a nice world of like this traditional conservative values. It's not a nice world. So Ruby teleports behind him, grabs the wish baby, and just somehow knows how to use its abilities. Like, the only person we ever see use, like, prior in Wish World, use the wish baby's abilities was the Rani.
Yep.
We don't see anyone like the doctor or whoever explaining to like Ruby, this is how it works. This is how you make wishes. You have to kiss the baby's forehead and then say what the wish is. Say, like, I wish for Jimmy to be on this podcast more. Like, you know, he was a madman with a box more. Like no one told Ruby how that works. Again, it has to happen because the plot demands it. So she wishes for him to be happy. He disappears, which then, as we get towards the end, it's then revealed he's like this nice, happy, like, barista guy. He's not this terrible right-wing grifter. And like, then Ruby's like very angry that this is the case, even though she wished for it. It's like, I know it's like, it's coming off from the whole like Poppy doesn't exist anymore. It's like, Conrad gets to be happy, but Poppy doesn't exist. How's that any better? And it's like, Ruby, you wished for it. You wanted him to be happy. You wished for this. So we get to Omega, and he's a giant CGI monster. 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row, we have a classic Who villain come back, and they are a giant CGI monster. At least with Sutek, it still fit his aesthetic, the Egyptian aesthetic. This is just it's just bones. He's a bone man. He's just a mummy. Doesn't look anything like Omega, and they try to pass it off as just like, oh, the legends of Omega. They twisted him in the Underverse. It turned him into what the legends describe him as. He's the Mad Titan. He's the original sin. Again, nope, that's not the Omega lore, but the plot demands it to be. Whatever. Not really fine, but we just have to accept it because that's what it is. Anything to keep the plot flowing. So we spent this entire season on a lackluster reveal and return of the Rani that leads to a lackluster reveal and return of Omega, who then eats her. And then the Mrs. Flood Rani just fucks off. Absolute content. We're here to generate content. So, and then the Doctor takes the Vindicator, this thing that it's established that it's used to get a fix on May 24th to get the Doctor and Belinda back to that time. And then it's used as the Rani to help generate enough power, the power of a billion suns or supernovas, to help bring Omega back out of the Underverse. And now it just becomes a gun. And it also has like a random like ammo pack attached to it now, so it's very clearly now just a gun. Russell, I thought you didn't want any like the Doctor to have anything that could resemble a gun, hence why. Wasn't that the whole reason like the sonic screwdriver now looks like a click remote? Because somehow the cylindrical design gives it the feeling of that it is pointing a gun. But now you've given the Doctor a gun. Baffling. Remember, I said this episode can be described as baffling. So Omega gets sent back into the Underverse, sent to hell halfway through this episode. So halfway through the episode, that's just resolved. The Doctor was at like wishes for no more wishes. Wishworld is gone. Poppy is still here, so hooray, the Zero Room worked. But then we have the whole like Poppy eventually disappears, but Ruby's like very adamant. It's like, no, Poppy is real. She is real. She is the Doctor and Belinda's daughter. She's your two people's daughter. So the Doctor decides, okay, I'm going to go bring Poppy back. And for some reason, the Doctor needs to sacrifice his life to use regeneration energy in order to do this. Now, I like the idea on paper. The Doctor would do this, would sacrifice himself to save someone or to bring someone back. We saw this with Ten. Ten fought against his arrogance and ego to sacrifice himself for the sake of Wilfred. But that's what they do. So it's not in the realm of like, it is in the realm of possibilities that the Doctor would do this. There is a baby that used to exist that doesn't exist anymore. That is important to the Doctor and one of his companions. So he's going to sacrifice himself to bring them back. I just don't like the execution of it, and the fact that I just don't give a shit about Poppy. I really don't. Nothing against the child actress. Very cute. Even like behind the scenes, I've seen the behind the scenes stuff. Very cute baby. Very cute child. But the character of Poppy and her importance in this finale, I don't care. So before he does that, we get the whole 13th thing. We get, again, second episode in the row. We have to have the montage of all the Doctor's previous faces because we have to tie down Shooty to, like, the constant, like, remembrance of the past. Remembrance of Doctor Who's past. Because we had that in Rogue with all the Doctor's faces appearing. We had it in Wishworld when the Doctor gets his memory back. We had it in Story and the Engine, which makes a bit more sense because the Doctor's telling his life. So it makes more sense for the flashbacks of the Doctors in that. But yeah, Story and the Engine, again in Wishworld, and then again here. And it's like Russell, like, you really wanted these to be a good jumping on point for new viewers. But you're like, so, like, this and, like, a lot of other things, you're very stuck on the show's past that make it really hard for a new person to get into the show. Unless they, like, read a fucking Wikipedia page about what the story of Doctor Who is. So he does that, he wakes up in Belinda's garden, and apparently now in this new reality, the whole reason that Belinda wanted to go back home was because she is a mother and Poppy is her daughter. But she's not the Doctor's daughter. Ricardo's daughter, this guy. This unseen person. So the Doctor did that, and it ends up not being his daughter. And all of Belinda's agency and who she was as a character beforehand, before this finale, the 2-part finale, is gone.
Yep.
The Belinda that we knew no longer exists. The Belinda that in her first appearance establishes that she is a strong, independent person. She does not want to be tied down by essentially societal norms or what's kind of expected of her. Of like, she doesn't want to be like, why does this have to be Melissa's, Miss Belinda Chandra or like Mrs. Belinda Chandra? And then when Alan proposes to her and says like, okay, when we're married, you have to do this. You can't do this because it's not what I expect of you as a traditional like housewife. And then when you make her in Wishworld the traditional housewife, it's supposed to be either that's what she is. It's like the worst case scenario for Belinda, that she is something that she is not. But then when she gets her memories back, she's still like adamant about Poppy. And now we're in this new reality where the whole time the reason she wanted to come back was because of Poppy. Like, way to ruin her character. It's not even like it was nothing in any of the previous episode established like that there was any indication that she would like to be a mother. That motherhood was something on the tables. Not even like, or even I've also seen a couple of people talk about like it's a bit grim, but like sometime in her past, like could have put in like sometime in her past, she had like a miscarriage, unfortunately, so this is kind of lingering thing of like she was almost a mother and unfortunately it didn't happen. So maybe there's a bit of her that still kind of wants that, but no, because the finale demands it. She always wanted to be a mother. No, she was always a mother from the get-go in this new reality. So really just destroy her character because the plot wants it to end this way. For a sacrifice the Doctor makes that somewhat amounts to nothing, because Poppy is not his daughter in this reality. She's 100% human. So we now end with the regeneration. It is very clear this was not how the story was supposed to end. It's very clear that because there was reshoots in February this year, and it's very clear that this was the reshoot. Like the second half of the episode seems to be the reshoot, because when it comes to the unit gang, Yasmin Finney's Rose Noble is just gone. She's not there anymore. And there's also a couple of other things where there's like a certain like costuming wise, it seems like, oh yeah, this is definitely like a reshoot because it doesn't fit with like prior scenes. And unlike with a lot of regeneration stories, it doesn't feel like it's leading up to a regeneration. It just it has to happen because Shooty's not coming back. Sure. And so he goes, he gets ready to regenerate. He sees Joy, the Star of Bethlehem, again. And I don't feel anything. Like, I don't care that 15 is no more. I care that Shooty can't do anymore, or doesn't want to do anymore, and he should. Like, getting Shooty Gatwa was big for Doctor Who. Like, it was kind of surprised that they were able to get someone like Shooty as the Doctor. And the fact that these past 2 seasons, we don't really know who his Doctor is. His companions aren't done a disservice with their stories. So, and the fact there's nothing we can explore with this Doctor anymore because now this is his end. It's a waste of his character. And I feel more on Shooty leaving than the Doctor regenerating. Hell, I felt more for 13 regenerating, even though I'm not a fan of the Chibnall era. I felt a little bit sad seeing the 13th Doctor go and seeing Jodie Whittaker go. I don't feel like 15th Doctor going, because it doesn't. It's clearly not what was the end goal for this series, and it doesn't feel kind of warranted. Like, Series 1, they didn't plan on Chris Eccleston leaving because of his experience with the production team, so they had to redo that so that his whole story finishes in Series 1. But with how they did it, how they did that entire series, what they did with his character, and how it ends, it feels complete. It doesn't here.
Yep.
It really doesn't, and feels like because of the reshoots, they scrambled to try and find a way to, like, okay, we have to change it to now. The Shooty's leaving, so we now have to change it to a regeneration scene. And it doesn't flow naturally into this Doctor is now leaving. This Doctor is now gone. So, and then we end on our big surprise, unless you saw the leaks, that Billy Piper is possibly the new Doctor. And regardless of anyone that's trying to defend this, this is creatively bankrupt.
Preach.
This is desperate.
Preach.
Now, you can say the same thing with David coming back as 14. I give it a little bit, even though it's like, yeah, it's very clear that bringing David back, you're trying to get the old fans back to Doctor Who, now that with, like, Russell coming back as well. And it's like, if Russell was the good old days, so maybe it'll be good again because he's back, and also David's back. He's one of the most popular actors to play the Doctor. But also, it's like, it's an anniversary, like, actors coming back, like Doctors coming back and all that, whatever. We can't kind of give it a pass there. And it's also something where kind of know that it's something that can happen with, like, the Curator, with Tom Baker's Curator, but we never actually really see it. So you had that initial intrigue of, like, why does he look like an older 10th Doctor? Okay, this is interesting. But we already had the announcement of, like, Shooty. Shooty was originally announced as the 14th, but he's now the 15th. So, like, what's going on here? The thing is, it's what we've done that. So now doing it again, but with an actor that portrayed a previous companion, it's desperate. It's really desperate. And the fact that they're trying to play it as like, oh, it doesn't say introducing Billy Piper as the Doctor. Oh, could this be Bad Wolf? Which I say the story of Bad Wolf was done in Series 1. I don't know why we're dredging that up again if that's the case. It could be also, like, stuff going on behind the scenes. Maybe Billy hasn't finalized actually, like, a contract, like, to contractually be in Doctor Who in the future. But the fact that, like, it ends like this, and the future of Doctor Who is a really worryingly unknown state. It's bad. It's bad they ended it like this. If you're unaware of, like, if Doctor Who was going to continue, do what was originally was supposed to be planned for 13. Leave it open-ended. Just have Shooty regenerate, but we don't see who he turns into. And then if you get the all clear to continue the show, then you announce the new Doctor. Then you can continue on from there. But it really it reeks of, like, we are reusing the same beats once again. We are doing nothing new. This Doctor Who is now an Ouroboros eating its own tail. And again, if you're a whole new fresh start, if you're a new person in Doctor Who, you're going to be like, why is this important? Why is everyone like, oh my God, Billy Piper? It's like, you're not going to know this past history of, like, oh, she was a companion to the 10th Doctor. And that's also another thing. Shooty's book ended by actors from the first era. Like, especially popular actors from the first era. Beginning with David Tennant, ending with Billy Piper. And that feels insulting to Shooty. Like, kind of got upstaged in his debut in The Giggle, with 14 still existing. And now he gets upstaged with a previous Doctor, 13, coming back, and then also seemingly the new incarnation having the same face as Rose Tyler. And I know some people always bring up the whole, like, oh, this has happened, like, have played multiple roles before. Like, Colin Baker was this Time Lord character, then he eventually was the Doctor. Peter Capaldi was the Roman guy, then he eventually became the 12th Doctor. It's like, if Colin Baker is just a separate role, and JNT liked him and wanted him to be the Doctor, wanted to be the 6th Doctor. With Peter Capaldi, they at least reference why he looks like that guy, and it's supposed to be like a personal reminder for the Doctor. Whereas with this Rose one, if she is the 16th Doctor, I don't see why. Granted, I'm a little intrigued on what we're going to get from this, but given Russell's lack of explaining anything in his era, I don't think there's going to be a satisfactory answer. So, yeah, really bad way to end this era for Shooty. A waste of his talent. So if I were to rate this episode, I would have to give it a 2.5 out of 10. Worst of this era and of this series, because so many contrivances, so many things that are changed because the plot demands it, and just character assassinations, especially with Belinda. Yeah, I am. Who knows what's happening with Doctor Who? I know it's not in a good state, but I don't want it to disappear. As much as I kind of hate what's been done with Doctor Who story-wise, in this era, I don't want to see it go, but something big needs to happen for it to change. And it really does seem to be like, I know we joke about it, the whole sack Russell T Davies, like all of that, but it really does seem like the one person that is holding it back is the one that's showrunning it, the one in charge of it, Russell T Davies. So whether he leaves on his own choice, the BBC higher-ups decide, no, we're replacing you, or they decide to give him a limited role. He's now just one of the producers or execs, instead of being the main showrunner. It does, we need, if you want this to be a fresh start, it needs fresh blood. We need an overhaul. Whether it's that, or we go with Landry's idea of just rebooting it, I'd rather not, personally, but whatever it is, it needs to be... It's off the rails, it needs to get back onto the rails, but we're not using the same old rickety train that caused it to go off the rails. We need a brand spanking new, fresh train. So, yep, that's my thoughts. And didn't expect it to be this long. I'm sorry.
We don't believe you.
I had a lot I wanted to say. Because, yeah, I'm just baffled. Really baffled at and what we got and the circumstances behind the scenes that led to this. Yep, that's my thoughts. I will see you guys in a few weeks. Sayonara.
Why? I just want to go ahead and say that the fact that he rated this a 2.5 is astounding, because this is a 1.
Wow.
And the only reason,
Wow.
like, to go ahead for ratings, no, this is. I wish I could give this a 0, but
Yeah.
0 isn't really a measurement. This is a 1. This sucked.
Yeah.
Sucked. I forgot about ratings because this episode is just that bad. Gevain, do you have a number you want to give this?
Yeah, I have a number, but if I may be allowed, I won't make this long. some thoughts because Chris sparked a few things, but okay, I'm not as pessimistic as a 1 or 2.5 or even a 0.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, no, my score is a 4 because I think Chris raised some. No, and I'll explain. Chris raised some points here, and I think even Jimmy as well, and Joe. I feel like the reason why this is a disservice is because there's something seriously broken with this entire system that has produced these 2 seasons. Whether it's RTD not locked in, whether it's something going on behind the scenes which is contributing to it. You know, I'm sympathetic to creative types when you have to deal with corporate masters, if you will. Sometimes those environments can force you and put constraints on your ability to tell a story that, much like Joe had mentioned, you don't find out until years after the fact. And it provides a lane of redemption that if you had known that at the time, you would be a little bit more forgiving. And I think my consideration of these series with the asterisk has always been there's something. And so I'll ask this. I missed the first part of Chris's thing. Is that did he mention Anita at all in terms of like her
Yeah,
scenes?
he said it was nice to see Anita.
Yeah, so I will come back to that because I want to end on a positive. I think I'm not sure how much of a comic fan Pixel is or Chris. I'm pretty sure Jimmy and Joe are, but I think Joe will appreciate this. The problem with this episode, ultimately, particularly what I like what Chris said about the Belinda character and how her agency was taken away. This is Avengers 200. That's what this is. This is Avengers 200, where you have somebody walk into it's literally Avengers 200. The world is all changing up and everything. A baby is conceived against the woman's will. In the case of the Avengers 200 story, Carol Danvers is actually mind controlled, and the Avengers don't realize what's going on and let her walk off. And this same kind of feeling that was generated back then, it's the same kind of when it comes to Belinda now. Because of the reality shattering, you have literally changed her into something that she was not, that she was not beforehand. And I thought that was a really good point on Chris's part. It brings up those vibes. I also agree with Chris that I don't care about the character of 15, but I do care about the fact that Newt, Melissa, I don't know the actress who plays Belinda's name, Anita, who played Mrs. Flood, the new Ronnie, even RTD, if it turns out years from now we found out he had to work under ridiculous conditions. Everybody got robbed, including us as an audience with these 2 seasons. And the thing is, there's something wrong here because those first 3, those anniversary episodes, are a completely different beast than what we're looking at right now. So something is not right. And I think that's what's grating at all of us, is that I don't agree that I would not want Doctor Who to end with this. I don't think it's earned that. I think what it is, it's like, guys, whatever it is, this character, this show, this legacy deserves more than this. It's earned more than this. And I will point to what Chris said, and I'm assuming that we're probably going to be on the same page when it comes to Anita, because, again, it's a glimpse that they know what they're doing. That's why I've been giving these asterisks. When they have the scene where Anita's looking for the doctor, this was the only real payoff from all of this. She goes, she's looking for him. She shows up for 11. She like looks and she's kind of like, she's glad to see him. She pops in on 3. She's glad to see him. She pops in on 15 and she's like glad to see him. And then this look comes over her face, which I completely credit to the actor, the director, Russell, whatever it is, where you see the payoff from, I believe it was that special, that she had fallen in love with him. She actually was looking to connect with him, and now she realizes he's out of reach. And then it's like, it's one beat there where it like pays off that whole special in a way that we all knew was there, but it's like they call back to it and pay it off. And then when she says the line to him, like after she found him, without necessarily telling him how she felt, but says that she ran to Ricardo, and then Yuki, in his response to her, it's like he communicates without saying any words. He understands what she meant by that line by running to Ricardo. That if you can pull that off, in those brief scenes like that, you're not going to tell me you couldn't have pulled off a whole bunch of other stuff over these last 2 seasons with that same skill, with that same minimalism that spoke volumes without speaking volumes. That's literally what you're doing in visual storytelling. You're showing, you're not telling. So
No, you also forgot to mention.
Go ahead.
The scene where the doctor and Verda? No. Valinda. Thank you. Belinda. We're passing each other the jacket of the daughter.
Yep.
And it kept getting smaller. We haven't mentioned that at all. The jacket getting smaller, and then eventually it meant no, and then eventually it meant like it was 0. It was nothing. It was beautiful. It was heartbreaking. It's like, okay, you can do that, but then you give us fucking space babies? Like, what were you doing?
Yeah, Chris brought it up in the video, but yeah, no.
Yeah.
Actually, Landry did too,
Yeah.
before you got here.
Yeah. No, so yeah. And so my point is that it's possible. It's possible. And it had been executed. But that scene with Anita was a payoff in a major way on something that it was just a payoff. So it was doable, but it feels like there was something really major going on with this behind the scenes. I can't quite. My score is more reflective of the series effort as a whole than it is of this particular episode. So I'm probably cheating and fudging, but I am going to give it a 4 because that is also reflective of how I feel about the series as a whole. Because I think, again, I felt like there was a lot there. Everything felt like half, and it was just either not swinging for the fences or didn't quite get there. And I think, and I want to give it a 4 because this was just a waste of a cast. This was just a waste of potential of characters. There was so much that could have been done, and I would hope that years from now the story is Disney wouldn't give us the money. Disney wanted us to do things at the last minute that we can. Somebody's schedule didn't work, or one of the actors or the actresses just really couldn't quite handle the system or whatever it is. It would I would need it to be that. But what I don't want it to be is for somehow this show, this character, and this fandom to suffer because the bosses at Disney don't get it. And I'll leave it at that.
Joe of the Corallos, your rating.
Sure. For this, I think I'm gonna give it a 2. I mean, there's that asterisk of that number could go down if it turns out that there wasn't they loved what they did and they preferred the way it went.
Yep.
So I want to give a little wiggle room where it could go further down depending on that, but also for the positives for me, I guess that helps bring it up to a 2 is Mrs. Flood is still on the table, so the Ranny's out there. She's not stopped. If they keep going,
yep,
we could get something going on there, and that could be cool. So there's some potential there that we don't quite know entirely. Like people were saying, if Billie Piper is really going to be the Doctor, because they very specifically don't credit her as the Doctor, and they could have. It's just and Billie Piper is sort of at the end. So we have that. I am thrilled that Poppy isn't actually his daughter. So for me, I was like, okay, that's great. That could have just been another kind of weird little affectation about the Doctor that just exists. Oh yeah, the Doctor has another daughter, I guess.
Jenny's out there somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's that. I mean,
she's Susan's mother.
Yeah, probably. I like that more could still happen with Susan. Like maybe, the next season, maybe, I feel like there's gonna be pressure to lean on that thread, especially since Carol Ann Ford is no spring chicken.
Yep.
And if you're gonna tease her kind of coming back, like at this point, she at least deserves an episode that she's the focal point of.
Yeah.
So do something like that, hopefully. I like that Mel is still on the table. This didn't take her off. As much as I would like her to be in better stories in general, it's kind of crazy that when like Terror of the Vervoids is maybe the best story she's in on screen. It's kind of crazy. It's like, is it that or Delta and the Bannermen?
No.
So there's very few choices. So like, I would love to see her in, some more stories coming up. I'd love to see her. It's like, while you have her, if she's going to be on here, like, it'd be really nice to just do like an episode where an old companion is the companion for an episode. Like, actually does the travel in the TARDIS. Like, it'd be cool if Mel traveled and was the sole companion for like an episode. Like, just be in between companions and just have like whoever the doctor is at that point just kind of be like, Mel, want to take like just one more sway, like one more go of it for all times. That'd be great. And we still have the potential to do that. So the potential of good things in the future helps elevate this story to a 2 for me.
I wish. I'm glad that y'all found something positive in the end, because I'm still in the pits, man.
No, and you're allowed to pee, and I get that. And I've been more sour on episodes than you. And
so they pissed on your boy. They pissed all over your boy.
No, I got it.
Boyd Omega. I was so excited. Like, maybe
I know.
Maybe they could do something. But not only that, but then to go ahead. So Poppy isn't real. She wasn't real. The fact is, they shifted reality to make another space baby. We also had that Belinda's descendant. That's nothing.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, you're right about that. Yep.
Yep.
And I can't care about. I'm sorry, I can't care about Poppy. Like, if it was that they were bringing their Poppy back, but that's not really Poppy. They just made another space baby, a pretty space baby. That's all they did, and I can't. I hate it. I hate this episode so bad.
I got it.
Jimmy, do you have a rating for us?
Yes, I do. Yes, I will put it at. I want to say 6.5, but I think there actually is a little bit too much of good things. So I will say 7.5, and on like the good end, 8.
I held out.
You're joking?
Get them picks.
Yeah. Okay. So never mind. Fine. Screw me. 7.5. Bye.
All right. No, I'm not trying to. If that's how you feel about it, man, that's. I
really do feel like it's like a 7.5. Like there are really good things with this episode. Like, truly,
you've been trolling us a lot tonight, though.
Joe, I really did not mean to troll you. Okay.
Okay.
Like, throughout this episode, like past couple weeks, I really did not. But this episode, I think, deserves a little bit more than it deserves, because I don't think Russell T. Davies did actually know that Shooty was going to leave. So I'll give it 7.5. Yeah, that's what I'll give.
Last thing I want to say is I've seen a lot of people, and the main theory right now is that because season 1 and season 2 were filmed back to back, season 1 it didn't do well. It didn't, and I think that the reception to that probably went ahead and inspired Shooty's decision to leave, and so that they had to do it in February of this year. Go ahead and do reshoots to go ahead and send him off because he wasn't waiting around to see if third season. We know that there will be a third season. It's just not going to be on Disney Plus, probably, because they would have gone ahead and said it.
But do you think that it now is the implication that Trudy is like he's taking it as people don't like him personally as a doctor?
Oh, I don't think that at all. I don't think it's that at all. I think it's that in the behind the scenes stuff, he said that my knees, they're tired. He's like, how old? Like, maybe 30.
It's the exact same thing they said for Christopher Eccleston. That's why I really don't think it was his fault. I think it's either Russell or Julie or the BBC. I really think it's their fault. I do not think it's Christopher Eccleston. I do not think it's Shooty.
I think Shooty wanted to leave. I think that's what it is because he wanted to have a career.
He can want to leave, which is fine.
He only signed a contract for 2 seasons.
Like him wanting to leave was the entirety of everything because what they're saying for Shooty is what they said for Christopher Eccleston, which is like, come on, all right, you've had your time. Why are you saying this? It's fine. We get it. We're not stupid.
But again, I think Connor agrees with me. Chris agrees with Connor.
Connor is just stupid. I don't care.
Shooty's got a promising career. If he wants to go to Hollywood, let him have at it. It's just sad because I really was liking his doctor. I was reading Josh Snare's tweets, and they make a lot of great points. And they said I really should just stop watching these finales because I liked most of the season. Okay, like I liked most of.
I'll tell you right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Josh has a lot more to worry about than fucking the Doctor Who season finale. There's more he needs to worry about. Okay. And but I will agree, Chris and Pixel, fine. But I will not spend 2 minutes on what Josh says.
Oh, okay. Anyway, that is our ranking of the reality war. It's time to go ahead and bring this reality to an end. We hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back next week to go ahead and discuss season 2 overall. I think that's just what it's going to be.
Yeah.
It's going to be
fine.
We'll spend a week to reflect.
Yep.
And we'll go ahead. Camera looking down. We want to thank you. We hope you enjoyed. We will see you all next time. Goodbye.
Sack Russell T. Davies.